Over 200 million businesses use Meta's platforms every month to connect with customers, to recruit and hire talent, and to grow the reach. Chamber's happy to be partnering with this pioneering company and Chamber member to ensure that our local businesses have all the tools and digital resources they need to thrive. We're teaming with them today on this program. I'd like to introduce our speaker, U.S. Policy Programs Manager for Meta, Diana Dukas. Thank you for being here. I know you came a long way. And Diana currently leads the economic impact for U.S. policy programs at Meta. In this role, Diana sits at the intersection of Meta's policy priorities and how Meta and its family of apps can empower small businesses to create, build, and grow their own businesses. Diana, thank you very much for being here. Myra, thank you for being here also.
Jerry, thank you so much for having me. Thank you everyone who's joining us virtually. Hello to those of you in the room. It's really nice to meet people in person again. As Jerry mentioned, I'm in from Washington, D.C., so thank you also for welcoming me to much better weather than what we were having on the East Coast. And so, as Jerry mentioned, I'm Diana Dukas. I manage our economic impact work at Meta, which really means how is it that we are bringing our small business resources to local communities to really improve the economic impact and opportunities for small businesses and nonprofits as they grow. And so it's really our goal and responsibility, knowing that we have over 200 million businesses that use the platform every month, to show up, bring our support, and also listen to the community for you all to tell us how we can be doing better, what else you could use from an innovative entrepreneurial company like ours, and then how we can bring our resources even more closely in line with what you're looking to do. And so this presentation, you will also, I should say upfront, you will also receive this in a follow-up email. So do not worry about writing everything down or capturing everything. This will absolutely be sent to you, because I'll skip over a couple of things pretty quickly, but I want to give everybody an overview of the different ways that Meta shows up for small businesses and that you can take advantage of the platform. So with that, we will get started. Oops. So I'll try. Okay, but before we even do that, I do want to talk about a couple of trends and information that we have started to gather from the small business community. So at the beginning of COVID, we launched our very first State of Small Business report, because we knew that we were all going to be looking to how, we as in government and our peer companies and other municipalities, we're really going to look to see how they support the small business community, because we all knew from the beginning of COVID, this is going to be a very, very challenging time. And so we started this State of Small Business report so that we could start to get a sense of what was happening in the small business community, so that we could show up and our peers could show up to best support. So in our latest one that we released about just a month ago, on the national scale, we've seen that 36% of small businesses who are operational reported using digital tools like Facebook and other platforms, and saw that their sales in the past month were actually higher this time than last year. I think we're all very glad to see that trend continuing to move in the positive direction. We also saw that 24% of small businesses using the platform had reduced the size of their workforce as coming out of the pandemic. That is a stat that we are all looking at quite closely, as thinking about how can we bring together workers and support and supply chain issues, and really just what are all the challenges that are going into sustaining your workforce. And then we also want to always look forward, of course, right? So we asked small businesses what was their confidence level and ability to stay open and operate 12 months from now, and 62% actually said that they felt optimistic about that, which is actually an increase also from our last reports. That's on the national scale. So in California, what we're looking at. And 78% of small businesses in California are operational, which is really exciting to see. That is a very strong number coming out of the state, and we're excited to see that just hopefully continuing to grow. 41% mentioned that their sales were higher the same month as last year. Than the previous that we just saw on the national scale. And then 38% of small businesses saying that they have reported making at least 25% of their sales digitally in the past month, and that's the 38% in California as opposed to 25% nationally. So we're really excited to see also coming here in this very entrepreneurial state that California is in fact using the digital tools that are available to them. We do also know though, however, that minority-led businesses are still finding a very challenging time, and they remain to be the hardest hit. So 26% of minority-owned businesses are reporting being closed. 54% of minority-owned businesses said that they were confident in their ability to operate in the next 12 months, which is significantly lower than the national and the California average that we just discussed. And 34%, as opposed to the 32% we just mentioned on the previous slide, reported that they were reducing employment due to COVID-19. And so again, these are very important stats for us to just be aware of as we're all looking for policies, whether it's the Chamber, Meta, others, to really make sure that we're supporting the small business community. So as we start there, just setting the scene of how small businesses are faring and feeling, although we don't need to tell you that, you all are here and you can tell us on your own, and I'm excited to hear about your own experience as well, wanting to talk about the ways that Meta can best support you as a small business. So some of these apps you may be familiar with, some of them you may not. Facebook is our most well-known and widely used platform, and was the original app that you all may be familiar with. Instagram is a more photo sharing and engaging platform where a lot of businesses have found an opportunity to reach their customers in different ways and really sharing more personal and community-driven ads and experiences. Messenger is a way for you to connect with your community, and WhatsApp is and also an opportunity for you to make sure that you are connecting with your businesses and your customers across the globe. So if we're looking to build your business at home and online, one of the things that we've all seen from the small business community is that not just were the challenges coming with COVID, but everyone knows that if anyone is going to be optimistic and entrepreneurial and figure things out, especially during a pandemic, it's going to be the small business community who are just at their core entrepreneurial and optimistic. And so we saw many small businesses look to pivot their operations online during the pandemic, and we're seeing a continued trend to be able to bring those apps and the business growth together. So as you're looking to build your online home for your business, we're looking at Facebook and Instagram tools to be really a great way for you to start. As we go through this, again, as I mentioned, we will be sending out this presentation, so you won't have to worry about where to find all these things and all these pieces that I'm talking about. But not only will I go through the apps and the ways that the tools that you can support, but we also have very specific free educational resources and tools that are easy to find online so that you can walk yourself through any question you may have or how to better use the platforms. And so when I send this out, you will have links to all of those things. And so really the idea behind all of our platforms is how are you going to engage your community? And so one of the ways that you can do this, whether it's on Facebook or on Instagram, is staying connected with your organic or paid reach. And so when you're looking to really show up and show your presence online, you have an organic reach. When you post online, when you go into a newsfeed, when you share your story, that is how you are showing up and you're having your digital presence. And then of course, for folks who haven't necessarily seen your Facebook page, if they haven't signed up to follow you, you can attract new customers by Facebook ads and being able to target and personalize your advertising to those communities and those potential customers that you're looking for through your paid reach, which is paid ads. And of course, there are always tips and tricks that are best for you to be able to use the platforms. And so we have organic engagement tips, which is which you're thinking about how can I make my posts go farther? Lots of ways. One of the best ways to do that is going live on Instagram or on Facebook, where it's just you're able to share what you're doing right now. You're able to make a current announcement. You're able to do a Q&A, or actually, I'll bring this up later. You're able to have people shop live with you. And so it's another way to really engage your community and bring you all together. I'm going to quickly go over these because there's a lot, and again, you will have this all in the follow-up. But there are lots of opportunities for you to use our ads and these resources for you to find your customers. Something that we've talked a lot about during COVID, and really was a boon to the small business community, was this idea of personalized advertising, which is really how a small business is able to identify who their customers are, and to be able to efficiently and economically target and reach those customers using their limited marketing dollars. So if you are a bakery and you know that you are looking for, you specialize in baby showers, and you can target your advertising so people who are looking for baked goods for a baby shower, they can find you. Or if you're a service provider or another type of retailer. One of the best things about personalized advertising that we saw during the pandemic, especially as storefronts closed, was that as your storefronts closed and you could no longer rely on the physical foot traffic, you were then able to use personalized advertising to reach new customers that weren't just across the city or across the state. You could do it across the country or across the globe, right? You could really learn to find your customers again in a really effective and economically efficient way, so that you are reaching the right customers and knowing, and hopefully actually expanding your business, as we saw. So we will send these slides, but there are lots of opportunities for you to use imaging and ads and videos and carousel ads and really fun experiences like that. We're always trying to iterate and think of new ways for customers, for small businesses and our clients in general, to be able to reach their community. And so this is many of the different ways that you're able to do that. And then along with that, we were also continuing to build new products and experiences. And some of these you may not know about as small business owners. So I really want to make sure to highlight a few of these. So during the pandemic, we created something called Meta Business Suite, which actually was a way for us to make messaging and monitoring your different accounts easier. You're actually able to bring together your Instagram page or account, your Instagram account, and anything else that you're using on the Meta platforms, and bring your messaging together. So you didn't have to worry about bopping between platform to platform and wondering if you're missing a customer's message or something like that. Business Suite was allowing you to do it all in one place. So really trying to make it as efficient for small business owners as possible. We're also trying to get trying to make it easier for people to be creative. And so we have something called Boosted Ad Maker by Lightricks, which is really an easy to use app that actually allows you to produce high quality video for social media in a really time efficient manner. Because again, we're finding that video is a really great way to engage and keep people in your community connected, and also to get more of a personal feeling for who you are as a business, or what it is that you're trying to accomplish. Facebook groups, another wonderful feature of bringing a community together. People will create a group and invite like-minded or interested individuals into a group, so that we can talk about, whether it's turtle watching at sunset, or during the pandemic, there actually were a bunch of groups that came together because as people weren't able to convene together in person, they weren't able to go running together, they weren't able to sew in the same space. People would get online and into their Facebook groups and start their sewing class and bring that together, or they would go fishing and they would all be together in the same group. And so people were sharing their community and their interests, again, trying to connect people when they weren't able to be. You may all have heard of something called the Metaverse, which is a very exciting opportunity for the future of what the internet is going to be. And so whether it is Microsoft's version of the Metaverse or another company's Meta, Facebook, are moving into building for the metaverse itself, which is, again, it is going to be the next iteration of what the internet, this interactive internet is. So if you think about internet 1.0 as dial-up, if anybody here actually remembers dial-up, internet 2.0 is really what we're doing now, which is a lot more interactive. Internet 3.0, or we're thinking about the metaverse, is really an engaging and fully immersive digital experience. And so as we're thinking about it for small businesses, it's a lot of different, while it's still many years away, 3, 5, or 10 years away, what we're looking to do in the metaverse is for businesses to be able to connect with their customers online in this immersive way. And one of the ways that we're starting to build that into our current offerings is something, there's this augmented reality opportunity or initiative called Spark AR. And it's a technology, and you may see this already if you're furniture shopping. But Spark AR actually allows for a small business to be able to allow for their customer to visually bring in their product to their personal space. So if you're looking for a couch, you see a couch online, but you don't know if it's going to fit in your space, you're able to take a photo, of your space, and Spark AR will allow you to put that couch into this digital space for you to get a better sense of what that would look like. We've started to see some fashion designers and makeup artists who are selling their own wares and products do the same thing, so you can try on without going into the store. And so there are boundless opportunities for small businesses in the metaverse, and Spark AR is one of the ways that we're starting to work with small businesses to get them more accustomed to what we hope is eventually coming. Paid online events is actually another way of thinking about the future and the metaverse, but also something that's really accessible right now. And that was also created during the pandemic and was a boon to small businesses. So again, as all of our in-person gatherings shut down, what did that do to the venues? What did it do to the concert goers? What did that do to artists and art shows? So paid online events actually allowed for venue owners or artists or others to host online events, bring customers and clients together in one place, but also still be able to make money, because of course, venues really, missed a lot of income because they weren't able to host you at a concert, but this was their way of keeping you all together by helping to do paid online events. And what we imagine in the metaverse is that if you all are having a party out here and I'm back in DC and I really want to go, I'll be able to join, and I can do it through paid online events or through the metaverse. Shops is something also that we created during the pandemic, but also really does relate as we look towards the metaverse. So it is a fully customizable e-commerce shop that actually allows for a small business to personalize its own virtual storefront as if you would have for a physical storefront, allow you to target or showcase up to 30 specialized products for your specific customer base, and allow for your consumer and customer to actually have a one-stop shop shopping experience. You might recall, if you're doing a lot of shopping online, like I usually do, a lot of the times you're bouncing, you've identified your product or the piece that you want to purchase, but then it bounces you from one platform to another to finish the transaction. That doesn't feel like an in-person shopping experience where you're just handing over your credit card or preferred form of payment. In a Facebook shop, you're actually doing the whole transaction. You're doing everything in one location, so it does feel as close to being in person, and that this shop is designed for you as you can. Meta Invoice Fast Track is something that we launched last year in September. So this is going to apply mostly to the suppliers in the room or who are joining us virtually. But we all know that one of the most challenging pieces of running a small business, especially if you're a supplier, is getting paid on time and getting paid back. And traditionally, many larger corporations or entities and clients have a net term of 30, 60, 90 days, depending on what the relationship you have with your client in terms of when you would get repaid. Well, that can make the difference between whether you're taking on a new project, whether you can keep your operating expenses the way they are, can you keep your can you hire new employees, or do you have to let people go? It is a really challenging time, and at any point, there's almost $1 trillion that goes unpaid, especially in the minority supplier community. So one of the things that we were able to do, knowing that this is such a big pain point for small businesses, is that we have created a program where we work with a third-party vendor called Supplier Success. And if you are an eligible small business supplier, you can apply to sell your current outstanding invoice between you and your client. You can sell that to Meta. Meta will turn that dollar amount around in 1 to 2 days. We then own that invoice. And so when your customer is ready to pay, they actually pay this third party and not the small business. So the small business gets the liquidity quickly. They are able to action upon getting that money and being able to really keep their business running or take on those new projects and grow. Meta takes a 1% fee. That is it. It is fixed. It is one time, and that is solely to continue the initiative. Because as soon as that money is paid back from the client, we then turn it back out into the next invoice. So we're looking to have just this sustainable program, self-sustaining program, and we've committed $100 million to this. So we are very committed to supporting diverse suppliers and making sure that we are doing everything we can to help ease the liquidity concerns that are often so high on a small business's list. And with that, we also create something called a small business funding portal. And so knowing that there are many, I should say this, access to capital, again, is one of the biggest challenges that a small business has. And sometimes a business doesn't know where to go for the additional funding if it's not their traditional bank branch. But there are lots of other opportunities out there for you as a small business, whether it's a CDFI, whether it's a local community grant organization, whether it's a large multinational corporation that's happened to have a grant program. There are lots of different funding opportunities out there for you as a small business. And so what we did at Meta is that we actually created this small business funding portal, and kind of like leaning into our superpower of connecting people. We want to connect people and resources, and businesses and resources, and to their customers. And so you as a small business can go onto this funding portal, put in a couple of identifying pieces where you are and what might be available to you, and you will see community organizations or other forms of capital that may be available to you as a small business. And so we're going to continue to grow this. We continue to work with local organizations who are in this, who have the same type of mission as we do, and hopefully small businesses can look and find additional opportunities for capital in this funding portal. We have also launched something called Reels, which is short form entertaining video, which really is more engaging for small businesses and their customers. It's a really, really fun way to connect with people. Place at many different places. And we also created gift cards, especially for small businesses. So we had always had fundraising tools for nonprofits, but during the pandemic, we created a gift card opportunity so that small businesses or their community could support their small businesses. And then because there are I'm just going through lots of different things here, and people have different accounts, and sometimes it gets a little challenging to manage all of them. We have improved our account center. So this is an easier way for you to manage your different accounts that you may have with us, and makes it easier and faster. So you're just focusing on your business and not worrying about anything else. Skip through these. And also want to make sure that a lot of these pieces, there are while small businesses use a lot of the resources that I just went through, of course, there's also the nonprofit community that we're looking to support as well. And so there are many different opportunities for nonprofits to use the tools that I just mentioned, but also there's a donate button and page fundraisers, and really how nonprofits can really help leverage the platform. Again, with fundraising stickers and live video donations. Again, the key is to really engage your community to make them feel really at home and connected and more likely to engage. And with that, I will finish. This is just the last page where, again, we will send this out, but we have many opportunities for you to have educational resources and guides and things that will help you along your small business journey as you're looking to leverage our platforms. And so with that, I will conclude. Happy to answer any questions just about Meta and small business in general. But that's it. So thanks.
And if anyone has questions, you're welcome to just unmute if you're on Zoom. Go ahead and ask. Well, I have a question.
Yeah.
So after launching all these different platforms, what are some of the most successful platforms or the ones that you've seen the most growth?
So one of the tools that I think people have really gotten a lot of value out of actually is our personalized advertising tools. It really does go back to being able to spend your limited marketing dollars really efficiently. I'm going to butcher this adage, but it is a favorite one of mine, where it says, you know, I know exactly where 50% of my marketing dollars is spending in my advertising, and I have no idea where the other 50% is going. The problem is I don't know which one is successful. And the point of that adage, which I really did butcher, is really that it's really hard, whether it's TV, you know, your more traditional advertising spend, it's really hard to know exactly where your customer came from, or how you're best targeting the community that you really know that is actually interested in what it is that you're selling as a small business. And so personalized advertising really does allow for you to just better specialize how you're spending your marketing dollars and really building that community around what it is that you're looking to sell. And again, it does allow you to reach outside of your physical boundaries, because you're able to start thinking about, well, what kind of community is interested in what I'm selling in France or in Australia or across anywhere across the globe. And so it really does allow you to more efficiently spend that dollar.
And I have a question online. This is from Colin Smith with the Cravery, which is one of our favorite cookie companies here in San Diego.
Yes, please.
And he says the iOS update in April 2021 severely impacted my e-commerce sales on my website. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yes, we have seen that the iOS changes really did affect the ability for small businesses to use the data that they have been able to use beforehand. What I will say is that Meta is committed to figuring out additional ways to support the small business community and being able to make sure that your dollar and your advertising spend is as successful as it was before these changes. But we do know that it is a problem. It is a challenge for small businesses, and we are looking at many different opportunities for us to better make sure that we're supporting you all, and how we can adapt to best be in line with the responsibilities that we owe, and regulations of the iOS changes, but how we can best show up for the small business community and figure out how you can continue to get the best out of the platform.
Thank you.
Oh, and we have a hand raised from Valerisa.
Hi, yes, my name is Valerisa Baker. Oh, I'm sorry. My dog just started barking. I just had a quick question as a restaurant owner, how I could best use this space.
Absolutely. So there are lots of different, out of many of the tools that I just talked about, really kind of creating that community around your restaurant is such a fun opportunity. And I'm sure you're already doing this, but your customers are coming to you because they love your vibe, they love your food, they love the space that you're bringing to them. And if you can translate that online, you're going to be able to bring even more people into your fold. And so whether it's through personalized advertising, whether it's through some of the video opportunities that you could engage, posting more regularly. Of course, I don't know what you're doing currently, but the more you're engaging with your community and really providing opportunities for your customers to see who you are, I think will be a really great opportunity for you to use these resources. Because again, these tools are all about creating community. And if you're thinking about using these tools in that way, I hope that you'll find it beneficial.
Thank you so much.
I don't see any other questions online.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So Do you guys do anything when it comes to maybe endorsements for a company? So like if a company's a part of Meta, is it some kind of an endorsement too for that business? Does that make sense? Like, so people can look at it and go, oh, they're working with them. So, you know, they kind of endorse, you've kind of endorsed that small business?
Interesting. So we do have something called our Leaders Network, which is an opportunity for small business. It's a business group that we have where you apply to, but it's really about bringing together businesses that have found success on the platform, can speak well to the platform, but also are looking for additional support and engagement. And a lot of the times our businesses work with us closely, whether it's on advocacy or sharing their story about a particular product if that was helpful to them. The Leaders Network is really a smaller cohort of businesses that are brought together so that we can provide additional support and really kind of work with them in general in advancing digital tools and digital platforms. So I definitely suggest if anyone is interested in joining the Leaders Network to please apply. That's a great way of doing that.
Great, thanks.
And Valerisa asked, how can we join the Leaders Network?
I will send that out as a follow-up, I promise. It's a long link. But if that's it, I just want to say thank you so much for having me. It's always so wonderful to sit and talk with you all. If there are any ways that you all think that you are challenges that you see, or iOS certainly being one of them, but additional things that that we should be aware of, and you think that Meta can play a role in supporting you, please obviously let Katie and the chamber know, because we're working really closely with them to make sure that we are showing up in the best way that we possibly can to support you. We've been invested in the small business community for a very long time, and we will continue to do so. But to make sure that we're doing it in the right way, we need to hear from you all. So just appreciate your partnership and joining today, and hopefully I will talk to you all in the near future. But if not, have a great rest of the day.